Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I have the third game for you coming up between Ballaz Academy and Mount Pleasant Football Academy. Of course, as mentioned before, the first two games had quite a bit of excitement. 4-1 victory for KFA in the first game over Waterhouse, thanks to goals from Romy Henry and a hat trick on the day from Damar Wallace, his first game of the campaign. And the lone goal for Waterhouse, I believe, coming in the second half. As for Montgomery United, they took the lead early through Kimani McLean, but eventually lost the game 2-1 thanks to a brace from Tashawn Rayner, bringing his total to 3 for the competition. And as we await the commencing of the game, it's worth noting that Mount Pleasant currently are league leaders. Ballaz Academy, meanwhile, are 5th in the standings. Still have a chance to crack that top 4, but they're going to have to win their remaining games. They have picked up a few notable results across the season thus far, but over the course of the season thus far, but they're going to have to pull off one more upset here. And of course, Kyle Hussey, who does have 3 goals so far this season, has been one of the standout players in the competition. We'll be hoping for some sort of magic from him today in the final third as they try to break down a defense that has been pretty stout. Joint with Harbour View, actually, for the least goals conceded thus far in the competition. And that has been thanks to some excellent defending at the back from players like Nelson and Hannaford and the Harriet brothers, as well as the goalkeeping of Marco Dean Spence. Meanwhile, Ballaz Academy have missed a couple of players at times, but nevertheless they've been playing rather well over the course of this season. Daniel Thomas, their talisman, hasn't necessarily been as consistent as they would want him to be, but Kyle Hussey has stepped up really this season. It wasn't really a regular start to last year, but he's grown a lot over the course of this season. Game's about to get underway here, ladies and gentlemen, for both teams. A number of changes been made to the starting lineup. Jeremiah Tapper coming back in for Ballaz Academy. Michelle Dennis back in goal. Delajahi McCormack, Ajani Silva, Kyle Samuels, Richard Clark, Kyle Hussey, Jasiri Hussey played pretty well in the previous two games. Amish Sims, Daniel Thomas, Kimani Thompson, and Jeremiah Tapper, as mentioned before, in the starting 11 for Ballaz Academy. And for Mount Pleasant, we have Dante Saul coming in for Marcadine Spence in goal. In this game, Captain Rashawn Williams, Ronaldo Harriet, Mario Nelson, Arnardo Flowers, Juby St. Jean Phillip, Jaden Brown Hannaford, Samuel Taylor, one of the top scorers in this competition, Franco Celestin, one of the best players last season, Ronaldo Harriet, and Javier Henry, who is on screen now. And game kicks off now. Ballaz Academy. Jasiri Hussey unable to take that down. It's a throw in now to Mount Pleasant. And cleared downfield now for Mount Pleasant, but Ballaz Academy take it away, and that will be put out of play. It will be a throw in for Ballaz Academy. Good combination play there, but ultimately interrupted. But Ballaz Academy have the ball back. And now here's Kyle Hussey, danger man for Ballaz Academy, taking on Harriet, and loses the ball there. Good defending there by Captain Rashawn Williams. And it's put out of play, and there will be a throw in to the Ballaz Academy, it seems. And Harriet actually takes the throw in for Mount Pleasant, and Hussey unable to get the ball back there. Harriet plays it across the face of his own box. Samuels looking downfield, trying to find his teammate there, unable to. That's Mount Pleasant there. And that's put out of play for a throw into Ballaz Academy. And it's played off the back there, off of defender, but Harriet clears downfield. Out for yet another throw in here. Bit of a frantic opening 3 minutes in this game. What will be crucial here is the battle in the middle of the park between these two teams. Juby St. Phillip, Sean Williams have been some of the best players in that midfield position right throughout this competition.
No game not play Monday.
It will be key.
Eh? No.
Ball played. Oh, a dangerous challenge coming in here, and that will be a foul. A pretty dangerous area for Mount Pleasant. free kick coming in from Mount Pleasant here. And Harriet got a touch on it, but goes over the bar. Will be a goal kick for Ballaz Academy. Doesn't. Now here's Dennis. Out for the. Put that out of play. It'll be a throw into Mount Pleasant. Throw and taken. And shoved off the ball there, but still has possession. Samuel Taylor, one of the top scorers in this competition, gets the ball back here. Cross coming in. No one there to meet it. And before Harriet could get a shot off, the linesman's flag did go up. And it is a throw-in. Offside decision, rather, for Ballaz Academy. Samuel Taylor there was believed to have been in the offside position. Dante Saul, the number 80 for Mount Pleasant, making his debut today. Not a usual starter by any means, but he'll be called upon to demonstrate his goalkeeping prowess today, in place of the usual goalkeeper, Mark-Dean Spence, of course, who was their starting keeper last year as well. Taylor. Misplaced pass. And now Philip gets it out wide to Harriet. Ball over the top, looking there for Javier Henry, unable to find him. Now Silvera going long for Ballaz Academy, trying to find Clark, but shoved off the ball there. But Ballaz Academy win the ball back here. Now Ramesh Sims comes inside, finds Daniel Thomas. Ooh, the pitch stops the progress of the ball there, and that's a played pass between the lines, but Ballaz Academy does well there to cut the danger out. The surface beginning to be a bit of a problem for the teams trying to make those intricate little passes beyond the defense. Unable to really get the pace on it they want. As you can see, pitch is a bit waterlogged at the moment. And Philip. Ooh, he's lost the ball there. Henry. And Jasiri Hussey can get it out wide now. And the ball delivered over to Kyle Hussey. And he keeps it in play and can take on Harriet now. Pass for Jasiri Hussey. Good feint there to get past his man. And great defending there coming at the back from Mario Nelson, making sure Richard Clark couldn't get on it. And it will be a goal kick for Mount Pleasant. Yet to see in these opening 8 minutes any real goal scoring opportunities, but nevertheless, a slip here from Tapper, and not made to pay, however, by Samuel Taylor. Michelle Dennis gets it out wide back to Jeremiah Tapper. Jasiri Hussey. Dennis trying to get it out wide, but loses the ball to Franco Celestin. Lovely pass to Henry, trying to get the cross in, but that's blocked. Good defending there, coming in from Samuels. Ooh, and the pass goes astray. Loses it there. Now here's Clark holding up the play up front for Ballaz Academy. Returning to his usual position, we've seen him play central midfield on a number of occasions, both for Jamaica College and Ballaz Academy. But last year he did play predominantly centre forward, and it's a return in this game to his usual position, and that will go out for a goal kick here to Ballaz Academy, to Mount Pleasant rather. And played downfield looking for, on that occasion, Orlando Flowers, but pass wasn't accurate there. And Henry, believed to have been fouled by Jeremiah Tapper, who's protesting that decision, but referee points the other way. And free kick taken quickly and played on into the path of Henry. Just couldn't get the shot off in time, and plays called back here for the infringement, and we'll go to Ballaz Academy. Ball lost there in a pretty awkward position. Thomas. Ball delivered out wide to Kyle Hussey. Can take on Harriet now. Cuts outside and gets a cross in, but it's blocked, and it will be a corner kick for Ballaz Academy. Corner comes in here and easily caught by Dante Saul. And he slipped there as he made that pass, but he still got it off, and now it's Ballaz Academy capitalizing on that poor pass. And that goes to the opposition. Mount Pleasant just not looking as fluent in possession as they usually are. And of course, a lot of that is down to the playing conditions, but I must give credit to Ballaz Academy. They've played well. And Kyle Hussey, who has been quite easily one of the best players in the whole competition thus far, unable to get past his man there, but now here's Flowers, stopped in his tracks by the pitch. Taylor with a cross towards Franco Celestin, but his touch lets him down there, and that will go out for a goal kick to Ballaz Academy. And Hussey's still down here following that failed attempt at trying to get past Harriet, who's had the better of him over the last couple of minutes. Ballaz Academy still progressing here on the right hand side. They get a cross in and it's deflected out for a corner kick. They've actually played really, really well here. Did expect them to put up a fight, still within a touching distance of getting into that fourth spot, that coveted fourth position, which would gain them a spot in the knockout stages of this competition. But of course, as I mentioned before, in order to do that, they're going to have to pull off an upset win here against Mount Pleasant, who of course league leaders. Corner taken, lofted, and Dante Saul once more collecting it pretty calmly. He's been doing a good job here of just commanding his box. And hurry up, please. Please, a pass there, and that's cut out there. And that goes out of play for a throw-in. He's fouled here, but referee says nothing to him, and Daniel Thomas hacked in the middle of the pitch by Rashawn Williams. Perhaps a bit of just revenge, considering he didn't get the foul his way just a few moments ago. Especially on a surface like this, you don't want to be making those sorts of challenges. And brought to the ground once more, another free kick for Ballaz Academy. Free kick taken here. And lofted towards Clark, and it goes all the way through. Thomas picks up the ball here in the middle of the park, loses possession. And there's Javier Henry trying to find Celestin out wide, but the ball a bit too central, easy for Dennis to collect. Hanford looking in field, but misplaces a pass. Harriet gets it back to Celestin. And trying to get past his defenders. He does. Can whip it across in here. At the back post, Flowers. Shot saved by Dennis. Mount Pleasant has perhaps the best opportunity of the game thus far. Nardo Flowers there at the back post. Had a great opportunity to put them in front, but good save at the near post there by Michelle Dennis. Taylor turns. Henry sets up. Oh. Harriet had the attempt there, but leaned back and it's gone over the bar. Good effort, but just couldn't put it on target. And 21 minutes in, score is still 0-0. Here you can see the previous opportunity. Celestin getting the cross to Flows, but Dennis doing well there to beat that one away. And now they have another opportunity, Mount Pleasant, to drive at them, but he wins a foul here. Free kick now to be taken by Rashawn Williams. He's already scored one earlier this season. Free kick taken, and ooh, almost went in. Dennis had to watch it all the way. Good attempt, however, by Harriet. Right into the side netting. On top, I guess that one away now to Kyle Hussey, but goes out. Philip. Ooh, poor pass there. It's cut out by Ballaz Academy. And shot blocked there. And goes out. Free kick now to be taken by Ballaz Academy. just awaiting the referees. The referee's okay. A number of candidates vying up to take the set piece. Among them, Ramesh Sims. Free kick taken low. And Saul once more coming up big for Mount Pleasant. Despite not being the regular starter, he's been really good so far in goal. Commanded his box pretty well thus far. And he's made saves whenever called upon. Hard and low that shot, and looks pretty dangerous, but Saul easily gets to it. Richard Clark on the ball. Thomas out wide now to Kyle Hussey. And Jeremiah Tapper loses the ball there. And the ball's Academy. Ooh, he's lost it here because of the rain. And turn now from Thomas to Kyle Hussey. Ball played over the top now for Hussey. Cross coming in, and that's cleared by Harriet. Only as far as Jasiri Hussey. And there's Daniel Thomas looking for the run perhaps of his teammate there, but unable to find him. Oh, lovely ball, but Hussey unable to get on the end of it and pass the other end, but a bit too much for Javier Henry himself. Ball played now to Celestine, but unable to trap it there. Ball's Academy doing a good job of just trying to put him under control. And gets past Harriet there, and he's brought down. Throw in for Ball's Academy. And there's Thomas. Harriet clears downfield. Ballaz Academy once more coming up front now with Ramesh Sims. Gets that out wide to Hussey. And once more Harriet shutting him down there. Good tackle, and he gets that out for a throw-in. Hussey, and opting for almost a shot there. I thought it was going to be a cross, but it's eventually gone all the way over the bar. And that will be a goal kick for Mount Pleasant. Pretty dangerous effort there in the end. Looking as though at some point it may have dipped in, but as we approach the 30-minute mark, the score still remains 0-0. turns here. Pass played into Flowers, who's brought down but wins the ball back. Plays it out wide. Celestin. Philip trying to find Henry up front, unable to. Hussey trying to play it up to Sims, and that's cut out. Not looking like his usual self today, Cal Hussey. Number of wayward attempts, and Samuel Taylor, lovely bit of skill there, ingenuity. And Henry trying a couple of fakes, but the pitch is not allowing him to get it off. And a cross coming in here, but no one at the back post. But there was just a bit too much on the cross there. Celestin takes on his man, beats him. Oh, and the cross is blocked. And it will go up for a corner kick, but the flag went up beforehand. It will go the other way for Ballaz Academy. Celestine getting past his man there, and the pitch just stopping him once more. And it's taken away from Jasiri Hossi, and the ball couldn't get all the way to Ramesh Sims because of the pitch. And still just 2 minutes or so left in the half. No goals as yet from either team. Ball played out wide now. Hannaford. Taka opens up his body now, trying to find his man. Henry slips once more. Pass to Taylor. Williams. Pass for Taylor. And he slips there. Of course, he takes him down. It will be a free kick. A dangerous area. Seems as though it will be Samuel Taylor over this to potentially take it. It's about to be a three-man wall here, comprised of Sims, Hussey, and Thomas. It seems they're actually going to opt for a four-man wall here. It won't matter for Samuel Taylor. He'll be hoping to, at the very least, put this on target. Free kick taken, and that's way over. And referee blows his whistle, and that is half-time. At the break, scores level between Ballaz Academy and Mount Pleasant. It's 0-0 live at the Jamaica College field here, and we'll be back after the break. About to get underway here for the second half. We're underway here. Mount Pleasant just beginning the second half for us. There's Williams. Picks up the ball and trying to play it out wide for Taylor, but ball goes out of play. Will be a throw into Ballaz Academy. Hussey loses the ball in the middle of the park there. And he's driving forward here. Going past a couple of defenders. Pays the pass now to Henry, who's gotten past a player. And wins a throw in here. That's a corner cross coming in and punched away by Dennis. Mount Pleasant have a throw in here deep into the territory of Ballaz Academy. Harriet to take the throw. And the winner free kick here. Actually, it seems it's going the other way. It's going to Ballaz Academy. Decision goes against Jackson St. Nord, who's come off the bench during the intermission. And Celestin wanted a decision there from the referee, but no foul. And that pass unable to be kept in play. Well, he does keep it in play, but he loses possession. And Williams plays it back to Hannaford, who loses possession there. Pretty dangerous area, and he's given away a foul as well. And that's going to see a yellow card produced. Poor decision there by, it seems to be Juby St. Philip. Seems it will be Ramesh Sims over this to take. Just awaiting the referee's whistle. He blows. Steps up to take for Ballaz Academy. And easily saved. Dante Sauls had a good day in the goal for Mount Pleasant, his first appearance of the competition, and he squatted himself quite well. Thomas loses possession there, but thankfully for him, his teammates sweep up the pieces. And Ballaz Academy eventually get their lines clear, but play called back here. Pleasant retake this free kick. Williams to Philip, back to Williams. Cuts in between the two players there. And he's lost possession, and it will go out for a throw-in eventually. Goes the other way to Ballaz Academy. Neither team really to establish themselves in this game. Of course, weather conditions have played a massive part in that. Not been the ideal conditions for playing silky football. But now we have a foul for Mount Pleasant. They'll try to see if they can perhaps make use of the conditions to their advantage. Free kick comes in and easily claimed by Dennis. Didn't begin the season as the starting goalkeeper. It's been predominantly for much of last season and this Devontae Horton, but he's come in midway throughout the season and has not looked back in terms of being the starting goalkeeper. Play downfield now and hit it away. And Jasiri Hussey, before he could get to the ball, the play was called back for a foul, and Mount Pleasant have a free kick. Williams takes it short. Harriet, when he's lost the ball here, now it's Cal Hussey. Loses position once more to Harriet. And Philip, a lovely pass to split the lines on it. He's gotten past his man here. And right before he could get a clean shot off, it's deflected. And here's Philip. Williams loses the ball there. And Richard Clark trying to get past Williams, and play eventually called back for a push in the back, says the referee on Richard Clark by Rashawn Williams. Play downfield by Silvera, and that will go all the way through to Dante Saul, rather. I was about to say Marco Dean Spence. And that's played downfield only as far as Harriet, but they'll go all the way out off of Delajahi McCormack, and it'll be a throw-in to Mount Pleasant. Hannaford takes quickly. Pass played now to Rashawn Williams, and that's intercepted. Played downfield towards Richard Clark, unable to find him, however. Mount Pleasant have the ball once more, trying for that cross-field switch there, unable to find a teammate, but they get the ball back on the pass. Played now into the path of Williams with a cross, and it's a shot! It's gone in! Poor goalkeeping from Michelle Dennis. And Mount Pleasant here in the second half take the lead thanks to a goal, it seems, from Jackson St. Inord, who's come off the bench at the break, and he's made the difference here, and with a pretty flashy celebration to boot. Lovely pass there played into his path, and Michelle Dennis will definitely be thinking that he should have done better with that at the near post. But I do have a feeling that the conditions may have played a part in him letting that ball slip, but nevertheless, that's most definitely one of the big don'ts in goalkeeping 101. Never get beaten at your near post, and especially not when you have the ball in your hands. Don't let it slip through. But nevertheless, Mount Pleasant won't care how they got it. All they know is that they're in front. And Hussey surrenders possession pretty easily. And a pass now played into Saint Nord, who's called back for offside. And that's headed away. And to Williams now. Plays it in and he's lost it there. Ballaz Academy defending in numbers. Every man behind the ball except really for Ramesh Sims up front. Richard Clark rather. Saul just composing himself before getting the pass off to Hannaford. And that's put out of play pretty needlessly there, and that will be a throw in pretty high up the pitch to Ballaz Academy. And there we have a replay of that goal. The ball from Hannaford intercepted by Jeremiah Tapper. And Sean Williams bringing the ball back there and playing that pass into the path of Jackson St. Nord, who buries it at the near post past Michelle Dennis. And thanks to that goal, Mount Pleasant are in front here in the 52nd minute of the game. And I'd like to thank our sponsor for the Elite Cup, Express Sports, as you can see on the back of the shirt there of Dilajahi McCormack. And good pass there to Kimani Thompson, assessing his options before passing. Eventually gets it over to Jeremiah Tapper. And a cross coming in and easily dealt with by Saul. It's played back downfield and out of play, and it will be a throw in to Mount Pleasant. And I have to say, it's been a pretty disappointing performance for Ballaz Academy, but they could be 2-0 down. Here is St. Nord on the ball in a flash, and his touch does take him around the defender, but couldn't quite get back to it, and it's cleared out for a throw into Mount Pleasant. And he lets fly from distance, but unable on that occasion, Philip, to find the top corner of the net. Ambitious effort to say the least, but considering the distance, wasn't as far away as perhaps would have thought. And that's out for a throw in now to Ballaz Academy. And there we can see McCormack just going across to take that throw in, and that goes out for a throw once more to Ballaz Academy. That's played out of. Went all the way through, couldn't find Jackson St. Nord. Tried to control it a bit awkwardly there. Marshall Dennis eventually gets it to his teammate there. Good defending there by Ballaz Academy. And they still have possession of the ball, but they've lost it here. Mount Pleasant can counter, and it's just a bit too much on that pass. Trying to find Celestin, but in their attempt to stretch the line of the defense, the ball's just a bit too close to Marshall Dennis in goal. Good pass here. And it's out wide now to Daniel Thomas, and he loses possession pretty cheaply to Rashawn Williams, who's been all over the park today, and as usual leading by example. The skipper did get the assist for Jackson St. Nord's goal, and that goes all the way through to St. Nord. He has a chance now to take on his man 1v1. Gets past him as well, surging forward, has numbers, goes alone, a shot blocked. In the end, a pretty selfish decision, but not a bad one per se. And a cross, but one that is not met by a teammate, as there's no one in the box really to cross it to. And as such, it will be easily claimed by Dante Saul in goal for Mount Pleasant. Just about 57 minutes gone in this game, and Mount Pleasant look in control here. Ballaz Academy haven't really had many clear-cut chances to speak of. St. Nord trying to get it off to Harriet, loses position. Richard Clark gets that off in time to Kimani Thompson. Now here's Samuels. That's played out wide by Richard Clark to Tapper. To Kyle Hussey. Gets the pass off in time, but he loses possession once more. Rashawn Williams plays it out wide. And now they're coming forward, Mount Pleasant, and a pass that just goes astray. Mount Pleasant seem to have won a corner, however. And of course, being 1-0 up, they're in no rush to take this. Not a lot of numbers forward either. And of the numbers forward, they're mostly pretty diminutive in stature, but that's headed on by Harriet to the near post, but in the end unable to direct it goalward, just over the bar. Good effort, however, by Ras Ronaldo Harriet. That will be a goal kick to Ballaz Academy. Celestin trying to find his man there, but St. Nord slipped. Ballaz Academy now can come forward, pass into the path of Sims, who turns and plays that back to Clark, I believe. Mount Pleasant has possession on a lovely pass out wide to Javier Henry. It's through on goal as a shot, and he scores! Mount Pleasant up 2-0. Javier Henry with his third of the competition. Great effort and a wise decision to take that shot, even with the defender incoming. A second later, and he'd have had his shot blocked there. Mount Pleasant 2-0 up. Wonderful pass, however, to get it to Javier Henry there. What a pass there. beautiful pass into Javier Henry, and he made the most of it with a pretty convincing finishing goal. And Javier Henry getting his third of the season. Ball played out wide now to McCormack. Hussey turns, trying to get it out wide to Sims, but the pass is cut out by Ras Ronaldo Harriet. Foul called here, and Mount Pleasant have this free kick. I'll take it quickly with Hannaford. Williams turns back to Hannaford out wide. Put up top, looking for Taylor, who loses possession to McCormack, who stumbles after winning the ball, and that will go out for a throw in to Mount Pleasant. Sean Williams now. Lovely switch of the play there, but pass eventually cut out. And it's a good tackle there coming in. However, it is a throw into Ballaz Academy. He's beating his man here, but he's lost the ball. And he's won the ball back here, Hussey. Trying to take on Harriet. And he is fouled, it seems. Wins a free kick. And actually it's a throw-in, not a free kick. It's headed on. And Saul was just signaling to leave the ball, but perhaps his defender didn't hear, and as a result it will be a corner kick for Ballaz Academy. And it's headed away. And he's still coming forward here. Has options in the box. And it's tapped home once more by Jackson St. Nord. His third of the competition. And a pretty unorthodox celebration, but 3-0 to Mount Pleasant. Jackson St. Nord just putting a cap on this result here. It's been a pretty resounding result. Hasn't even been their best performance, but that's what great teams do, even when they're not at their best. Still able to get results, and 3-0. Can't say it hasn't been deserved. They've been clinical in front of goal. Harriet. Hannaford. Pass cut out there by Ramesh Sims. And won by Philip. Hannaford. Williams doing well there to retain position. And good move there to still have the ball there. Lovely play around the back by Mount Pleasant. They're beginning to regain the fluency in their play despite the pitch. And they have the ball still here. And pass into St. Enoard once more. Lovely pass, but unfortunately couldn't go all the way to Philip. And eventually the attack is cut out. And that's a foul on Sims by Ras Ronaldo. Harriet will be a free kick and a yellow card as well to boot. Played out now to Samuels. McCormack. And that pass is intercepted before Keneal Jackson could get to it. Ooh. And Phillip has gotten past two players here. And turns before playing it out wide to Taylor. Now to Ronaldinho Harriet. And that's headed away by Keneal Jackson. He's made a mistake here. Ooh, a pretty crunching tackle. And instead of letting the play go and playing advantage, play is called back now for a foul, a free kick to Mount Pleasant. And to be fair to the referee, that was a pretty dangerous challenge coming in, and not the first of those that we've seen. Just a few moments ago, we did see Harriet with a pretty hefty one as well. But Mount Pleasant will feel a bit disappointed they didn't have the opportunity to go get their fourth. And a short one taken. And a good turn there, and had a shot but blocked, however, by Richard Clark. Coming all the way back to do some defensive work. Hannaford. And good pass there by Henry to Williams. They're making it look pretty at the moment by Mount Pleasant here. And the ball goes all the way over the head of St. Enoard, who flicks it over the head of the defender and then puts it into the path there of a teammate. It seems to be Samuel Taylor, and his shot goes over the bar. Wild the swing at the end. And just about 10 minutes to go in this. And quite a number of opportunities for Mount Pleasant here to extend their lead. Samuels. He skipped past one here. Still on the ball, but it's intercepted by Philip. Now is Ronaldinho Harriet. Mount Pleasant win the ball back, and now is Sean Williams, who yet again is putting another commanding performance in the center of midfield. So adept at filling a number of roles, not necessarily positions. He's predominantly played midfield, but he can play either as a 6, as the 8, or as a sometimes a 10. So good on the ball. Excellent in terms of vision and dribbling. And of course, given that he does have 4 goals on the season, we know how good he is in the final third, whether it be with picking out a pass, as we saw with the assist earlier, or a finish. But now here's Javier Henry to Saint Nord, who's still searching for a hat-trick, but that's a poor pass. And a lunging tackle there. Not sure if he slipped there or that was a challenge. And it's gone all the way out now to Kyle Hussey. He can take on Mario Nelson here. He cuts inside, and Harriet once more, stopping Kyle Hussey in his tracks. Outstretched boot there. Had to get to it. And it's played out wide now to Javier Henry. And the pass from Taylor there, not accurate, and that will be a foul. A free kick for Ballaz Academy, which McCormack wants taken quickly. And they do get their wish. Kenil Jackson drifting in field now, looks out wide and finds a substitute, number 18. And a free kick is given. Pretty crunching tackle coming in there from Hanniford. And number 18 is Jude Davis, who made his way onto the pitch not too long ago. A free kick for Ballaz. Not actually a free kick, to throw in. And given how crunching the tackle was, I guess I perhaps thought that's what the referee would have done, but actually that was a clean tackle on reflection. Just waiting for confirmation of the game being resumed here as we approach just about 6 minutes to go in this game. And as Ronaldo Harriet does win a goal kick off of Jude Davis there. Game petering out a bit towards the end, as I'm pretty sure that the game's pretty much wrapped up with just 6 minutes or less to go, and 3 goals to the good here. And Mount Pleasant don't typically surrender leads. Great work there to get past his man. Sean Benjamin coming onto the pitch. He's already scored this season. He's played pretty well whenever called upon. And there's Basil Trail trying to find his man. A number of substitutes have come onto the pitch for Mount Pleasant. Harriet takes the throw. Substitutes, as I mentioned before, among them being Sean Benjamin and Basil Trail. But it also seems as though Dejani Falconer has come on as well. Franco Celestin just getting a rest. Not his greatest game today. Of course, the young man was stellar at the back end of this competition, scored in both the semi-final and the final. Ballaz Academy making some mistakes at the back here. But as mentioned before, they scored in the semi-final and the final of this competition last year, and also went on to score in the semi-final of the Jamaican Premier League semi-finals against Montego Bay United. Of course, a huge dispute over his transfer to Montego Bay. But anyway, Mount Pleasant still trying to get a result here. And it looks as though they're in pole position to do just that with just 3 minutes to go and most likely not much added time left. Seems as though Clifford Jeans also made his way onto the pitch. A number of new faces onto the team, and it's only fair. They are 3-0 up and they have a number of games upcoming, and it seems the fans of Mount Pleasant are really beginning to just have fun now, take the mick, I suppose, out of Ballaz Academy players, given that with just about 2 minutes remaining and 3 goals up, the result is almost certain. They're just beginning to just take some liberties in terms of cheering every time certain players get the ball and perform a skill. And I suppose that's what you kind of have to do at this moment in time. Just enjoy it. But now he's through here on goal, but good defending there at the end. Falconer plays the pass off in time, and Hannaford wins it back high up the pitch, gets it out wide, and Phillip plays it now to Taylor, into Saint Nord rather. And he seems he's just dancing on the ball at the moment. The Mount Pleasant team beginning to not really take this seriously towards the end of the game. As mentioned before, results almost certain at this point. Goes back to Clifford Jean now, much to the applause of the fans. That's cut out by McCormack. Clark into McCormack, and he gets past one. McCormack puts it out wide for Davis. With a cross now into the box, but no one there. And Clifford Jean does eventually get to it. Easy for him to claim. Shouldn't be too much added time. Haven't really had that many stoppages in the second half, with the game petering out a bit. And now it's Harriet. It's played up front now, looking for Falconer. Now Saint Nord loses possession. Silvera clears. And Juby St. John Philip trying to win the ball back here. Pleasant. Just passing it around the back to pass time until the full time whistle. Patient as ever in build-up play. Now it's Harriet. Hanford turns. Much of the applause of the fans here as he produces a little exquisite little bit of awareness to maneuver himself around the defense. But now here's McCormack getting past DeJohnny Falconer. Playing it out wide now. Pass goes back to McCormack. Assessing his options. Gets to the byline. Went for the shot, but high and wide. And the referee does blow for full time. And at the end of the game, Mount Pleasant scoreline, you can see there, Mount Pleasant victors 3-0 over Ballaz Football Academy. Pretty resounding victory. And that brings us to the end of our live coverage of today's games. We've seen the KFC Elite Cup here at the Jamaica College Football Stadium. Scoreline at the full-time whistle is Mount Pleasant 3, Ballaz Football Academy 0.